I realize it's the second week in May, but you guys still wanted this video, so here we are. Hey guys, what is up? It's HVL Manga here, and welcome back to the YouTube channel. So today, I am very excited. I am going to be showing you guys all of the manga that I've read in the month of May. Now, if my math is correct, which it may not be because I was never the best at math, I read around 30-ish volumes of manga this past April. I've really been intentional about reading more of my collection, so the next couple of reading logs will probably be hefty, especially May, because no manga May, boys. We're still going strong. So let's not delay the video, let's get right into it. This is all of the manga that I've read in the month of May. So the first manga that I read this month was Love Sickness by Junji Ito. This was actually the first work of his that I've read. You're probably wondering, is that not Uzumaki in the background? Yes, that is. I've had that for a really long time and I have yet to read it. I will get to it soon, I promise. Basically, this story is about a town that is haunted by this dude, which, I'm gonna be honest, I thought this was a woman. And basically, these girls are getting these crossroad fortunes. And at the crossroads of certain streets, they ask for fortunes, asking them, you know, are they gonna meet the love of their life? Are they gonna fall in love? Are they gonna have a family? You know, all of that sort of stuff. And basically, these girls end up missing and wind up dead. So it's basically kind of like a mystery story, and overall, I would say it was a good read. I will say, because I haven't read any other of Junji Ito's works, it took me a minute to get used to, you know, the short stories, like, after the, like, main story, because I was, like, reading this, right, you know, doing my thing, and then when I got to, like, the short story section, where there was, like, a couple short stories, I was like, how on earth does this connect to the main story? It doesn't, and it's not supposed to. So now I have context for his works, which is very important and very good. Overall, I would say this was a good read. I read it in one night. I wouldn't say it's super creepy, but it's Junji Ito. It's hard to go wrong. The next manga that I read this month is Blue Flag Volume 7. This is a series that I keep up with as they come out in physical releases, obviously. This is basically just a love story and like a love triangle story. I normally don't enjoy love triangles / romance series just in general, but I really think this does it really, really well. There's only one more volume after this one, and I really feel like there's a lot left to kind of resolve. So it'll be interesting to see how they do Volume 8 and if the ending is any good. I've heard mixed things. I will say this volume in particular was definitely pretty text-heavy in comparison to the other volumes in this series. I mean, you guys know how much I love Blue Flag. If you're looking for a good romance series, I would seriously recommend picking this up. If it's a romance and it has survived in my collection, you know it's probably going to be good. Now, this next series I read this month was To Your Eternity, Volumes 1, they're slippy, okay? Volumes 1 through 6. So, let's talk about this series. Basically, the concept for To Your Eternity is that there is this, like powerful mythical thing that comes to Earth in the form of an orb. And basically, this orb can transform into, like, things around it that die? I think that's the premise. So in the beginning, this orb turns into a rock, and then this rock turns into a wolf, and then the wolf turns into people. So basically, this orb is just wanting to become more and more powerful in the next form that it takes on. I honestly, like, this was an interesting read. And, you know, in the story, there are also, like, things that want to kill this orb and want to take its powers for themselves. Okay, let's talk about this. So, this is my take on To Your Eternity. I thought volumes 1, 2, and 3, 1, 2, and the first half of 3, for me personally, they were very, very slow. I was recommended to read this from some friends, and I was reading it, and I was like, oh no, like, they like it so much, if I don't like it, this is gonna be a problem. I just thought 1, 2, and the first half of 3 were very, very slow, and honestly, for me personally, not very enjoyable. But the second half of Volume 3 and then 4, 5, and 6 were great. Like, I seriously enjoyed the later half of these 6 volumes. I don't know, I would say give this series a shot. I am planning on picking up the rest of the volumes at some point. But there is also an anime coming out right now, and I've seen like the first episode. Regardless, Tyrion Eternity is a good read. I would recommend it, but if you're getting into it and you're anything like me and you like fast-paced stuff, just know that the first couple volumes are going to be a little bit slow. So the next volume/series that I read this month was Demon Slayer volumes 2 through 10, I believe is what I have here. I'm not going to go through every cover just because that's too much time. I have had Demon Slayer for a while. Sorry for the glare. I've had Demon Slayer for a while at this point, and I really haven't read it just because I've been more interested in reading other things. I picked these up because I did enjoy the anime, and I, recently went to see the Demon Slayer movie, which was really good, by the way. I'm not gonna lie. I cried. Regardless, because I went to go see the movie, I was like, you know what? I want to be caught up with the manga before I go and see the movie, so I really cranked through volumes 2 through 10. I will say, I know a lot of people hate on Demon Slayer, say that it's mid. To an extent, I would agree. It's not the greatest thing that I've ever read, but I honestly really enjoy this read. For me personally, our main character, Tanjiro, probably did not say that. I'm sorry. He wasn't really that special of a main character to me. I don't really know why. He just kind of seemed a little whiny. Is that wrong? Probably. Regardless, I didn't really enjoy him as a main character until like volume 9 and 10, when he actually started to figure himself out a little bit. I'm not going to say any spoilers, but volumes 9 and 10 actually made me start to enjoy, like really enjoy this series. I forgot his name. Is this Uzai? Who is this man's? Uzui? Uzi? Little Uzi? Okay, anyways. Regardless, I am actually now really starting to enjoy this manga. I don't know. I enjoy it, and I will continue to read the rest of the series. Now, if you want to talk about a series that I always enjoy reading, Chainsaw Man Volume 4, oh my word. I loved this volume. I really think Chainsaw Man gets better as the volumes go on. In this volume in particular, there was a lot more, I personally think, a lot of like, 1, revealing of characters' abilities, and 2, like, training. So basically, not really spoilers, but Power and Denji in this volume get like a teacher, and it's fun to see them interact with the teacher and kind of like just be themselves in that setting. This was a great read. I love Chainsaw Man. It's probably my favorite new shonen title right now, and I am so excited to pick the rest up. I really think this series keeps getting better. Pick this up if you haven't already. So the next volume, or I guess volumes of manga that I read this month is Helsing in the Deluxe Edition Volume 1. So, okay. I picked these up for a couple of reasons. The first reason was if you put anything in a hardback, leather-bound book, I will buy it. These just look so freaking nice. But 2, they were also pretty cheap on Amazon, and I've heard decent things about this. So I picked this up. I will say this did take me a while to get through. I think it's like 700-ish pages. Yeah, so it's like 600-ish pages. So it did take me a little bit to get through. Regardless, I went into this series pretty blind. I knew it was about vampires, but when I started reading it, I realized just how much I was, in a way right, but also very wrong. This is a very complex and very, political story. Basically, it's about different, denominations of the church, which is also very interesting to read about, but different denominations in the church, fighting each other, but there are also, Nazis in here. I mean, could I describe the premise of this series to you? No. But, is it a good read? I would say yeah, especially for the price that these deluxe editions were. And there's only 3 of them, so it's not gonna break the bank. I do have the second one, and I will read it eventually. This was an interesting pickup and read. I recommend you give it a shot, but I was very wrong going into this series. So the next manga that I read this month was actually one that I was able to get a little bit earlier, so that's why I read it in April. That is Die Dark Volume 1. This is by the same mangaka that does Dorohedoro. This was a very interesting read. This is released by 7 Seas, so it's actually a really quality release. Like, the cover is very nice, the pages are very nice. The concept of this book is basically we have our main character, and his name is like Meatball something. His name is Meatball something, and he named himself. How fun is that? Regardless, our main character, Meatball, I'm just gonna call him that, he has these bones that basically if someone like gets one or like somehow acquires one, they can basically wish and get whatever the heck they want. So basically this poor guy, poor Meatball, is getting tracked down hardcore. I will say this does have very similar vibes to Dorohedoro. Sometimes I found myself reading this volume and trying to connect it back to the Dorohedoro storyline, which totally not related, so don't do that. But I will say this was a good read. I will continue to pick these up. I mean, this is basically I equate this to Space Dorohedoro. That's what I see this as. So talking about Dorohedoro, I actually read volumes 8 through 15 of Dorohedoro. I'm not gonna go through all of these covers, but Dorohedoro is just always such an enjoyable read. I seriously love this series. It's confusing, and honestly at points I have no idea what the heck is happening, but it's still really, really good. My reading experience for Dorohedoro kind of goes like this, alright? So let's just say, picture this with me. I read volume 8. I'm so confused. I don't know what the heck is going on in volume 8. I'm enjoying it, but I'm very confused. And then I move on to volume 9. Volume 9 explains everything that happened in volume 8. So I'm clear on what happened in volume 8, but now I'm confused on the new content in volume 9. And I would just say that that cycle continues for pretty much the entire series. I will say though, don't let that discourage you from reading this. It's really good, it's very gritty, and I will say once you kind of learn a couple of the main things in the story, you are able to track decently well. I enjoy this series a lot. I definitely recommend you give it a shot, and I need to pick up the rest so I can read more because I read these as soon as I get them in the mail. The next manga that I read this month is Fullmetal Alchemist in the Fullmetal editions, volumes 3 through 6. Basically, Fullmetal Alchemist was a series that I, again, have had for a while, but I really haven't, taken the time to actually read them. And I finally have, and I am so happy that I am. I watched Brotherhood, the anime, and it is one of my favorite animes. This is such a good read. The quality of these Fullmetal editions are also really, really nicely done, and it's really just has a good overall reading experience. I have the entire release series of this so far. You guys already know what Fullmetal Alchemist is about, but basically about two brothers trying to get their bodies back, but then they, find out that it's a lot more complicated than they could ever think. I, in the manga, finally got introduced to Izumi, or Teacher. She is one of my favorite characters. She's just a housewife doing her thing, but she is just an absolute great character. Overall, Fullmetal Alchemist is in my top 5 manga and anime of all time. Really great read. Definitely encourage you to read it if you haven't already, and pick up these Fullmetal editions because, people, this is the superior way to collect Fullmetal Alchemist. The next manga that I read in the month of April was Jujutsu Kaisen, Volume 9. I know I say that weird. I don't know why I'm like Jujutsu. I can't even say Jujutsu like slowly. Jujutsu Kaisen. So I read this. This was a pre-order. I always pre-order like this and Chainsaw Man just because they sell out so freaking quickly. Jujutsu Kaisen, this might be a hot take, and I might get heat for it, but I'm gonna say it anyways. I enjoy this series, but I don't know if it really lives up to the hype that everyone gives it. Now, before you hate me, let me explain why. I really think the anime really is encouraging, people to really like this, which obviously it makes sense. And also, I mean, the cast of characters are just so pretty, so I get it. So again, this isn't me trying to hate on this series, but it's not my favorite read, but I still really do enjoy it. I'm only caught up with the physical releases, and I have heard that it does get better as time goes on, as most manga does. Regardless, I still will pick these up. I do have fun reading these. It's just not my favorite read, and I think it's a little overhyped. Don't come for me. The next series or manga that I read this month was Ultimo Volumes 1 and 2. So, if you know anything about Ultimo and kind of my relationship with it, I don't know if relationship is the right word. Regardless, I picked up Ultimo recently this past month, and I, started reading it, started getting into it. This is a very interesting story and manga just in general. It's basically about pure good versus pure evil and basically who will win. Overall, I think so far this has been a good read. There's a lot of different characters that I'm gonna have to remember who they are and what they're capable of. But regardless, this is a really good series. Personally, I would say I mainly got this series because of Stan Lee and because just how much I appreciate him as a creator and his passing. I wanted to just kind of remember him in that way. But if you don't really have any connection to Stan Lee, I wouldn't say go out of your way to spend hundreds of dollars on this series. It is a good read. I am enjoying it. But if you're not attached, don't spend hundreds of dollars for this series. Regardless, I am, again, really enjoying it, and I'm excited to see where the story goes. So, the next manga that I read this month is Resident Evil Volumes 1 through 4. Resident Evil was a manga that I, again, picked up recently this past month. I didn't really hear much about it or know much about it in the past, but then I found one volume in my local comic book shop, decided to pick it up, give it a shot, and honestly, I am surprised with how much I enjoyed it. The concept is basically about zombies and kind of biochemical warfare, I guess, in a way. There is this school in our story that has had an outbreak of zombies, and our main character is going to this school to try to find the cause of it, to stop the cause, and to basically just save this school. But let's just say it doesn't go as planned. Regardless, this was a really good read. The art is very, very good. It is a gritty story. There is also, I believe, some connection to the Resident Evil video games. I'm honestly not entirely sure. I haven't played them myself. But regardless, this was a good read. This is out of print and can be difficult to find. Would I say you should really go out of your way to, find these and to pay, astronomical prices? No, but if you can find these for a good price, I definitely recommend picking it up. There are 5 volumes in the series. Volume 5 for me is coming in the mail shortly, so I'm excited to read Volume 5, finish out the story. I will say it does feel like there's a lot to be resolved yet, so it'll be interesting to see how they do that in Volume 5, but regardless, Resident Evil, good stuff. Pick it up if you can. So the last 2 volumes of manga that I have in today's reading log, I realize this is a long video. Thank you for sticking with me. I have Vagabond in the Viz Big Editions Volumes 1 and 2. This is a series that I picked up, I want to say, maybe a couple months ago, maybe 2-ish months ago, I want to say. But I finally got to reading it, which, here is my take on Vagabond. Are we ready? So I would like to preface and make known, I've only read these 2 volumes. So anything that I say, story-wise and opinion-wise, is solely based on the first 2 volumes of this series. So basically, from what I've gathered so far, it's about our main character. Basically, he wants to become the best samurai in all of the land. I mean, it's a very, to me, it's a very generic and very used storyline. It's not incredibly original as of right now, as of the 2 volumes that I've read. And, I mean, you see it all the time where our main character wants to become the strongest, whatever the heck you fill in the blank in all of the land. And they learn that being strong and having strength doesn't actually mean the same thing. And they go through this transformational journey, and it's just this whole thing. Are those stories bad? No, I had a very enjoyable time reading Vagabond. That's not me saying that I didn't enjoy it, because I did. I will say, just as of right now, this read is very generic to me. I mean, I could name 50 other series that have a similar concept to that, but the truly redeeming thing of this manga, and you probably already know what I'm gonna say, that is the incredible artwork. The artwork in this story is next to none. Probably the best artwork in my collection. It is insane. It's so detailed. It's so well done. I mean, it just literally blows my mind how good the artwork is, and I literally found myself while reading these 2 volumes just sitting at a panel for a couple minutes and just admiring the artwork because it is so beautifully done. I do want to pick up more of these, especially in the Vizbigs, because these spines are sick. I will say, the reading experience, especially for volume 1 of the Vizbigs for me, was kind of rough. This thing is so freaking thick, and I was so scared to crease the spine that I was like, ugh, almost just dropped volume 2. I was like, you know, like reading it like this, trying to not crease the spine, because who wants a creased spine? So it wasn't the most enjoyable, like, physical reading experience, but the content made it worth it, and the spines make it worth it, because the spines are sick. So basically, Vagabond was a good read. I am planning on picking the rest up eventually. I don't know when that'll happen, because I know some of them are like kind of out of stock right now, which is unfortunate. Guys, I realized that was a lot, and this video was longer than I, really wanted it to be. But that is all of the manga that I read in the month of April. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hopefully, I'm assuming, May's reading log will be much bigger than this. Or just bigger just in general, because no manga May, boys. No manga May is going strong. I thought you'd want an update. Regardless, again, thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. And I will see you in the next video. I appreciate you guys. I'll see you later.